It's a bit of a funny one. Some people find out your age and they'll just avoid you like the plague. If you're looking to invest some money into marketing, you've got a young lad who's just started out who's can't even buy a beer yet, you're going to look for the big agency, especially if you're putting some fair money into it.
Hi, I'm Luke from Burnley Social, and the following podcast is a Burnley Business Week special. Burnley Business Week is sponsored by Burnley College and organised by Burnley Borough Council, and it features a full week of free live seminars. I'm also hosting a different podcast for each day of Business Week, filmed and recorded right here at Burnley College. These will tell you the stories of different local figures in business. I really hope these interviews inspire you, and I'm sure you'll find them relatable and valuable in many ways. The podcasts are released on Burnley Social's Facebook, Burnley.co.uk's YouTube, and Burnley Council's Spotify. Without further ado, let's get into the interview. Enjoy. Harvey Wilkinson started freelancing as a logo designer at the age of 17 and has since built up a full-fledged digital marketing agency called Cotton Digital. Welcome to our Burnley Business Week podcast. I'm here with Harvey Wilkinson from Cotton Digital. So, Harvey, introduce yourself and say what Cotton Digital does today.
Yeah, so I'm Harvey, the director of Cotton Digital. We're a full-service digital marketing agency based just up the road in Burnley. Essentially what we do is we go into businesses really good at what they do. We just take the hassle of marketing away from them. So what you tend to find with businesses is that they'll usually have 2 to 3 agencies working in the business. What they'll do is you'll have one on socials, one on SEO, one on website, one on video. It gets messy, trust me. So what we do is we just go in, we just take that off them, do it all in-house.
Fantastic. Harvey, you started at quite a young age. Do you want to just start from the beginning and say where you got the idea for a digital marketing agency and basically explain how it all started?
Yeah. So I've always been sort of entrepreneurial. I've always had little businesses on the side, bits of stuff to make money and what have you. And it was when I was going into college, leaving school, I came to Burnley College, where we are now. And I did a BTEC computing. In one of the modules was a marketing focused one. What we were doing is we were creating a fictional football team. We had to design a logo and some social media posts and things like that. So I was thinking about, how can I monetize this? How can I make some money from it? And I started selling logos and designing them myself on Photoshop and selling them on eBay, Instagram, Facebook, wherever I could really. And it sort of just snowballed into what it is today.
So you started at Burnley College. What did you learn in that course?
So I learned quite a lot. I mean, it was heavily computing focused because that's what I wanted to go into at the time, cloud cybersecurity to be specific, as that was sort of seen as, the thing to go into. But it was the marketing module that sort of where I took focus. That's sort of where I suppose it's always been in my mind to be a bit more creative and things like that. So I learned a lot around that.
What kind of piqued your interest in the marketing course? Was there a certain bit in particular where you thought, I'm quite good at this. This could earn me some money, kind of thing?
Yeah, and I suppose it all sort of clicked when we did the module in marketing where we did the fictional football team. I sort of got to see it.
Do you want to talk about your football team, what it was? Do you want to explain your project? Cast your mind back. I know it was quite a while back.
That was a long time ago, thinking back now. But so I created a very unique name called Computing FC.
Nice.
Very
from the town of computing.
Well, exactly. But, I was really stuck on a name, and there were people coming up with all sorts of names, and I thought, I'm just going to keep it simple, keep it computing focused, and I did that. And I remember it was a circular logo with a football pitch background and like an Apple Mac style sort of a logo in the middle, and with a few footballs on it and what have you, and the usual stars. And so we had to do that, and then we had to create like fake players, if you will. We got pictures of real players, like Ronaldo, Messi, your typical ones, and we created fake names from fake shirts, things like that. It worked really well, and that's what sort of piqued my interest, because we had to do it from scratch, from we had to make the name, we had to make the logo, we had to make the posts, we had to design the player kits. I sort of got involved, and I started doing it sort of outside of college as well, and because it took interest, and that's what sort of took it off.
At what point did you started earning money from it? At what point did you think, oh, this could be turned into a full-fledged business?
It was never really a thought. What happened was, so I started selling them on eBay for $9.99, and they're not that anymore for anyone thinking, but and I sold quite a few, and one of them I sold them to, he had a shop, and he wanted me to design the logo. A few weeks later, he comes back to me and he says, are you any good at making websites? And I'd never made a website before, but I said, yeah. And then, so I built him a website on Wix. I don't know if you've any interactions with Wix, but it's like a website builder that's really easy to use. It's drag and drop, so anyone can really use it. So I set that up for him, did it all, so it was all in his branding. His logo was on there, and he loved it. You could see what products he had and everything. And then again, came back a few weeks later. Are you any good at running social media? I don't want to do it anymore. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So I started doing that for him. I went on for quite a while. The shop's still going. We don't work with them anymore, but it were really good. And that's sort of what got me into, when we were HDW marketing, the 3 services that we did were social media, graphic design, and websites, and that came from.
And HDW, that was Harvey. I'm guessing you're middle name. Yeah. I like the idea of when he asked you to make a website and you just go, yeah, and then kind of learn from then onwards. Does you hear the quote, something like, aim first and then fire?
Yeah.
So I like the idea of that, and it works out all right, clearly.
I think it's something, don't quote me on this, but I think it's Richard Branson, and he says something like, say yes and then learn how later.
Yeah. And then, I've heard that.
Sometimes you just got to jump in and how to do it on the way, but he wasn't like, it wasn't like a big project where they had a big deadline. He just sort of wanted, he liked me, he wanted me to do it for him. So it worked really well. It gave me
what kind
to learn.
What kind of things were you doing for his social media?
It was just really sharing, bits about the store, bits about what they were selling, your general stuff, really.
Did you get into the advertisement side of things?
But in terms of like paid ads?
Yeah.
No, we never did paid ads with it. We had a small budget, so we never really looked into that. But it is something we do today.
Yeah. At what point did you start picking up more clients, and what kind of clients were they?
Think back now, I think one of the first other clients in sort of like the business area around here was a telecoms and IT company, or SJD consultancy.
Were you still based in your bedroom when this was going on?
Yeah, so I'm still based in my bedroom at this point.
Was it 17 still, or were you about 18?
Yeah. Probably getting into... No, yeah, because I was still 17. So I remember talking to him and saying, I'm 18 in a few weeks, I think it were.
Did that not ring alarm bells for him, like, oh, this kid's a bit young?
Sort of, and it's a bit of a funny one. Some people, it was sort of like hit and miss. Some people find out your age and they'll just avoid you like the plague. Whereas some people are like, he's young, he's trying to do something, let's give him a chance. And there's quite a few people like that, and I still do bits of business with them today, or a lot of business, and I still speak to them regularly.
Yeah. When did you move from your bedroom into the Landmark? For people that don't know, that are watching, the Landmark is a fantastic facility based in Burnley. It's co-working space, it's office space, it's event space, and Harvey moved into there at a certain point, didn't you?
Yeah.
Where did that decision come from, and what point in your business career were you when this happened?
It was sort of when I was struggling. So I really wanted a private office, just to say we had a private office and to bring clients around and things like that. But it wasn't in the budget at that point. So I had to look for other alternatives, and it was actually a customer I just mentioned, SJD, who put me onto Landmark. He sort of said, look, have a look at this place. They've got a few options. You can pay, don't quote me on this, they'll probably hate me, but I think it's something like £30-40 a month to plug and play, as they say. You go in this big room, you got tea, coffee, toaster, microwave, stuff like that, and you can just put your laptop down, get to work, and then you've got like your mezzanine floor where you had like your fixed desks, and that's what I went for, because it's sort of like in between a private office and your typical plug and play co-working, and that were really good. So I got my own drawers and locker and things like that, And yeah, it's really good. And I think we went there I want to say it was at the start of 2022. I think something like that, but it might be 21. But yeah, it was brilliant. Got to meet so many businesses there that I still talk to. I met my financial advisor there, who now deals with all our pensions, all our ISAs, things like that. He put me on to my now accountant. We've met customers there, met business friends of Cotton there. We've met all sorts. It was such a huge part of our journey. It was such a lovely building as well to bring customers around. You serve them a parking spot in the morning, you bring them around, you show them around the building, then you go into one of the meeting rooms downstairs. It's just really good.
That's a brilliant thing about spaces like the Landmark, meeting so many connections that you wouldn't meet just in a normal office. And because you're in such a amazing environment that they've created, it's somewhere that you want to go. Because the building's amazing. If people don't know, it's the old Burnley Grammar School that dates back hundreds of years. So the building's spectacular, and they've put loads of money into the renovation. So it's not all old inside. It's high-tech Wi-Fi. It's beautiful office space. So that's the thing with the Landmark. It's a great environment, and it's a great way to meet new connections as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. They've got everything, like I was saying then, with the standard plug and play, the fixed desks. They've now got more private offices than they had before, but they used to have like a little Apex Centre at the other side of the car park. We had an office there for 6 months, something like that. And then we moved up to where we are now at Business First. We had a smaller office there, and we've just moved into a big one upstairs in the same building now. Yeah, really good part of our journey.
Yeah. Was it in the Landmark that you went through the rebrand, or was that after you moved?
Yeah, it was in the Landmark.
Yeah.
Because we had our rebrand party there, which I know you came to.
Yeah.
Again, that's another thing about Landmark. They've got rooms to hire and things like that for events, weddings, things like that.
Do you want to speak through where the decision came to rebrand?
Yeah. So rebrand came from, obviously, we were HDW Marketing, and it was very focused on me, which was very good at the start. It's like I say, people wanting to give us a chance and get us into business and things like that. But then as we sort of got a team and we started hiring, started working with more businesses, I wanted it to be less focused on just me, more focused on people believing in a brand and a team and things like that. So Cotton Digital was born there, I suppose.
I love the name as well.
Yeah.
Paying homage to, obviously, Burnley's historic cotton industry, is proper Burnley agency name. I love it. Yeah,
exactly. And it's not too not too focused as well, so we can tell people about it and tell them a bit of a story rather than just Burnley Digitals. That's obviously Burnley, whereas now we can take people down a bit of a history path where we've sort of started. Now we're working with clients outside of Burnley. We had a client in Nottingham, and they did ask. They said, "Where's Cotton Digital come from?" Because most people in Burnley tend to know. I got to tell them the whole story about that. It was brilliant.
I've heard you say before, I think it was your interview with Rachel, Burnley.co.uk.
Yeah.
You said that the rebrand was probably your best business move.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
It was brilliant. It's not just about a brand change as well. So one, it gave us a good fresh look. It got us out there a lot more. But then number two, the most important thing, I suppose, is we introduced a few more services. So we weren't just doing web, socials, and graphic design anymore, doing everything. So we could go into businesses and give them that full service treatment.
How did you find the capacity to find these new offerings?
Yeah, so we've took on more staff as well. So staff are obviously a lot more trained in more areas. And then we also utilise freelancers for bits of stuff like video. For example, we've done a lot of drone work recently, but we don't have a drone. We've got a good freelancer who's worked with us a few times. So he's really good. He knows what to do. He knows our clients. He knows how we work. So it works really well. You don't have to do everything yourself. You can utilise people.
Yeah. So you've recently moved into an even larger office. You're at Business First, and you're now still at Business First, but you're on the top floor. You've got a stunning view of Pendle Hill on one side and the canal on the other side. I've seen videos. I've not had my chance to come and visit yet.
Have you not been up yet?
I've not been up yet, no. I know I need to get myself over, don't I?
I didn't know you'd not been.
No, I've not been. I've just seen it on pictures, but it looks really smart. Have you settled into your new big space?
We've nearly got everything now. We're just missing a darts board and just trying to figure out the logistics of where it's going to go, who's going to be in the firing range.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. Yeah, we just had the wall done from TCB Designs. It looks absolutely brilliant. I'm sure most people have seen it. It seemed to be getting about. I'm sure people are sick of seeing it, to be honest. But yeah, it's going really well. And we've it's double the size of the one we had before, so we've now got space for more desks and more staff to come in.
Is that because you're planning in the future to hire more and more people?
Yeah, we've got some good growth plans this year, so it's quite exciting.
Fantastic. And I have to ask this, over the years, what's been your biggest challenges or your main challenge in your journey so far?
I suppose everyone in business will have this issue, but at the start, it was definitely the age factor. Getting started, getting those first few clients, and it was hard, especially at a young age. I mean, some people were really good about it. Some people wanted to work with you just because you're young and just because you're trying, whereas some people will avoid you like a plague. And it's not necessarily their fault. It's just, if you're looking to invest some money into marketing, you've got a young lad who's just started out, who's can't even buy a beer yet, and you've got an agency who's been around for 15, 20 odd years, and they've got 30 odd staff, you're gonna look for the big agency, especially if you're putting some fair money into it. So I think that was the big thing. So it was about building the relationships with people.
Do you think you've built such a good reputation now that people separate you from your age?
Yeah, I think we're there. If we're not there, we're getting there. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting sort of to the point where I'm meeting people in the industry that are the same age as me or very similar. So it's not too bad anymore. You know, like you say, the reputation's there. People know we can deliver. Yeah.
Have you had any bits of work that you really liked doing? Any clients that you want to shout out?
There's none in particular that comes to mind, but one thing I do love about it is work with people that are so different. Work with people who deal with fighter jets, food machinery, and recently started working with the marina. So it's all very, very different stuff. We work with law firms, telecom firms. You go into one meeting, let's say you have 2 meetings in a day, your morning meeting will be completely different to your afternoon meeting. They say one minute you're talking about fighter jets, the next minute you're talking about the geese that live up the marina. And it's just, it keeps it interesting, and I absolutely love it.
So a lot of people watching this might be wanting to start a business on their own, or they might have already started up and they don't know where to base a business. You're a big advocate for Burnley. Do you want to speak about the business community in Burnley a bit?
Yeah, I mean, credit to yourself as well. The business community in Burnley is just brilliant. It's so welcoming. You know, you go to things like yourself with the Burnley Business event, Burnley Business
bondholders.
Yeah, I can't think what you were called then. Yeah, I'm gonna say, I think in Burnley Business Awards, that's where it was coming from.
That's also a cracking night, though.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. The Burnley bondholders are absolutely brilliant. You know, you've got loads of events on. You go there, people are so friendly. You see loads of other Burnley businesses, and it's just brilliant. I mean, there's you guys, there's the Burnley Tech Network, which you guys are actually behind as well, aren't you?
Yeah, Martin from the council is behind that.
Yeah. So that I mean, that's brilliant. So
just for people that are watching that don't realise, the Burnley bondholders, a lot of people do know, but it's a collection of about 200 businesses in Burnley, big and small, any different industry, and they're very influential in Burnley. We meet up every month, and we have a huge event 4 times a year, and it's basically about putting Burnley on the map and influence it to show it off around the country and around the world, really, and show that Burnley is a bit of a hidden gem. So that is what the Burnley bondholders are. If you do want to read more, you can look it up on burnley.co.uk/Burnley bondholders. But that's what we're talking about when we mention the bondholders. It is a great business community, and it's why Burnley is actually special and sets Burnley apart from other towns, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was over with some Blackburn customers. It won't have been long ago. It'll have only been a couple of weeks ago, and we were having a joke about, I say a joke about the difference between the business support in Blackburn compared to Burnley, and they were just so jealous, and they were actually thinking about moving to Burnley for it. Things like the bondholders, and that just shows how brilliant it is.
It's a common thing. You'd be surprised, well, you might not be surprised at how many businesses from outside of the borough say to our team at the council, at Burnley Council, listen, your support's so great, we're actually considering moving just for the support. It's that much of a benefit for them and the bondholders as well, how much of a community is. Because thing is with the Burnley bondholders, you're meeting businesses that care about the area a lot of the time, so you end up with a cluster of businesses that want the area to do well. So you use your supplier who's a Burnley bondholder, your customer's a Burnley bondholder, even your competitor's a Burnley bondholder, but a lot of the time you want your competitor to do well. You actually want the businesses in the area to succeed, because when the town succeeds, you succeed by extension.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not surprised by that at all. Like you say, with people moving to Burnley, I know quite a few businesses who've actually done that, and I know a few more thinking about it. Obviously, they've got to work out their logistics and everything from that, but it's definitely a massive incentive.
Have you got any advice for people in that stage of wanting to start a business, especially if it's a digital marketing business? Because there'll be a lot of young people out there that are quite tech savvy. They might be good on social media. They might be decent at making designs on Photoshop, InDesign.
Yeah.
Have you got any advice for them if they just want to take that first step and start getting clients?
Yeah, just start. If you try and perfect it too much before you launch it, you'll spend forever, sitting in the dark trying to figure it out. Just get it going, get something out there. And as a perfect example with us, we're on our third name. We started as HDW Graphics, and we just did graphics, then went to HDW Marketing, now we're cut on digital. The services have changed, we've had to adapt to what businesses actually want, and you don't actually know until you start. So just start, find something you're passionate about and do it.
When it comes to your future plans with Cotton Digital, what can you tell me about future plans? Where's it going?
So we've got something really exciting lined up for 2025. I can't tell you anything about that yet, but what I can tell you is with the office, we've got that for some big growth plans this year, ready for next year, and it's looking really positive. But at the minute, we're just looking to keep things simple, keep doing what we're doing, helping more businesses and growing the team.
Fantastic. I look forward to finding out what the plans are. Yeah. Maybe we can have a podcast round two.
Yeah, well, you need to come up to the office yet, don't you?
Yeah, I do indeed. Harvey, where can we find Cotton Digital if someone wants to get in touch with you?
Simply search us in Google. If we don't come up, then we're not doing our job right. But yeah, it's as simple as that. Or you can call us on 01282 216 613.
Fantastic. Thank you.